till the day I die.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's the 5th episode of The Mindful Tangent. Thank you for joining, and some great news since the last episode. We got you can't see this fridge, awkward, but we got the brand new fridge. Actually, there's a story behind this fridge after the fact. After I told you guys we're getting a new fridge, we never got the fridge. So as we left off on Sunday, we found out our fridge was not working, and we called maintenance, and I said it's an emergency because obviously refrigerated food is an emergency. We lost all the food, by the way, in our fridge. And they told me, hey, the fridge, I ordered it on Friday. It's going to come on Monday or Tuesday. We were like, okay, well, how are we going to make chaya? So we just packed our stuff and went to my parents' house. So we stayed there. So Monday comes around and, everyone's getting anxious. They're like, did they fix the fridge? I'm like, well, wait, be patient. It's Monday or Tuesday, right? And I'm thinking, even if it is a Monday or Tuesday, we don't know what time it's going to deliver. Let's be honest. If it's being delivered and they're not picking it up, that could range a variety of time. So then I was just like, okay. And Monday comes, still nothing. Then Tuesday comes. I'm waiting, still nothing. And I still was like, okay, maybe they got the fridge, but they're going to do it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning meeting, Wednesday. Wednesday comes around, there was still no fridge. Then that's when I went on the portal. And I went on the portal. I was like, hi. We were told Tuesday or Thursday, and still there is no fridge. And at that point, we didn't say anything about we're not staying there or anything. We are just like, okay, cool. Finally, no response. That's the other thing. It's not finally. There was just no response from the guy, because it's whoever's responsible for that particular job that responds. So you're thinking, oh yeah, they're going to respond. No, they did not respond. So then, of course, Thursday comes around, and then corporate Sneha comes up. Corporate Sneha meaning, I don't want to follow up on my comment from before. Then that's when I said hey, we're not even staying in this apartment because there's no working fridge. All of a sudden we got comments now. And it's from people and then even the person called, the property manager, we're so sorry. We had no idea you weren't staying here, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, we just want to make sure we're allowed to enter the apartment to fix the fridge. I'm like, oh yeah, go ahead. The old fridge is nice and clean and ready for you to go and take. Finally, Friday morning is when the fridge was ready. Friday morning. So think about it. Sunday to Friday, that's 5 whole days passed without a fridge. Now, for us, we're lucky, right? My parents' house is not that far away from here, so I can just go and live freely. But other people, how would that be an efficient way? If this is the only place they have a place to live, you're telling me they just gotta live 5 days without a fridge, right? Just in general, things like juice, vegetables, fruits, all these things go into a fridge. The only things, I was thinking cereal, but you can't even have cereal. You know why? Because there's no milk. Are they going to pay? But who am I to say anything? I mean, who am I? I'm a tenant. I live here. Anyways, we're at a new angle. A lot of technology. If you heard from last episode, my mic had changed in between. Found out that you can't really touch this mic or it gets sensitive and you can't hear. But neither can you sit anywhere, and neither can I talk too loud, because then the echo echoes back into this mic, and then we're doomed. So we've learned all these things and we've become better. So I'm going to explain a story. And when I first heard this story or was watching and seeing the person explain it, in a matter of minutes, it went from what's going on? Oh my God, that's so cruel, to that's probably not the best thing to have happen. It's oh, you're not a nice person, are you? Or not a nice person, I would say. Yeah, you'll see. Okay. There is a young lady. I do not want to pronounce her first name, because it's also a very bad group of people. ISIS, okay? It's probably pronounced another way. I tried Googling it. YouTube was no help for me there, and it was a no-go, okay? So I'm just going to pronounce or say her name by her last name. So there was a lady named Mrs. Hong, and she had posted a video. It was the weirdest thing. So obviously a lot of these videos that come and release on social media, they're not in chronological order, right? I could be watching the 5th video, but there's probably 4 videos before this one video. On my feed, I'm watching this lady. She's like, Equinox called me. Equinox customer service. And if you don't know what Equinox is, it's a gym membership or a gym. It's a very expensive gym membership. I think like minimum it's $200 for a membership. It's not inexpensive at all. Like it's very bougie. gym membership. And I think they do have the amenities as well, though. It's not like it's just like some dumbbells and they're charging you $200, I think. But I've never been there. She received a call from customer service, and the customer service was like, can you tell us what happened? And so this girl's like, keep in mind, I did not watch any of the videos before. She was like, oh, you can watch all my TikTok videos that I made on it if you want to know what happened. I was like, interesting. Keep in mind, she's like upset, and verbally you can hear that she's upset too. So you're just like, ooh, I mean, a little mean, but ooh, we're like thinking something's wrong. Then she says, Equinox customer service says like, okay, if that's the case or whatever the case is, we're going to have to cancel your membership and you will no longer be able to take any membership at any of the Equinox locations. And I was like, oh, it's one thing if it's like one location or maybe you want to cancel your membership. That's different. This is all the locations. That means you must have done something. Me being like, what happened? I went and started looking at videos, and there was a lot of videos actually. I found out like she made tons and tons of videos. What ends up happening is she makes her first initial video on this issue. Do you know what happened? So what happens is she is in the bathroom in the women's locker room, and she's like, oh, it stank. Okay. And this is putting in Sneha's terms, right? And how my brain translated it. She was like, oh, it stank. And she's like, oh, maybe it's me. Oh, it's not me. And she's like, oh, something in this bathroom stinks. Oh, there's a woman right next to me. It must be her. According to her, that lady was right next to her, and that smell must have come from her, right? She proceeds to tell this lady, you really smell or stink. You need to put on some deodorant. Like, she explains it. She goes and records her explaining to other people. She does the same exact thing, and it actually just ends up getting worse. And I'm just like, oh no. If it was me, and I'm just going in the gym, I'm like, oh, it's stanky up in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's also the gym. You know what I mean? This is where people come to sweat and like work out. And that everyone should be maybe taking care of their personal hygiene and all that stuff. But I don't think I could ever tell somebody, unless it's my friend and we're headed out of the gym, then that's different. But these two individuals, according to her, they were going to go work out. This is not beforehand. The lady then proceeds, Mrs. Hong, proceeds to explain to us that she just was staring at her, and so then she just like nonchalantly just leaves and left, meaning to go stretch in the gym. This lady, I guess, goes near her, meaning like she's at another equipment but staring at her. Then this Mrs. Hong tells her like, do you have a problem? Like, why are you staring at me? That's when this other individual goes to the people that work in there. You're going to a freaking gym, okay? It's like everyone gonna be stanky. You know what I mean? It's like, if you really didn't want people to stink, then get your own gym. And we don't know what kind of stink it is, right? We don't know if it's like a poopy stink or it's like stink like, oh, I sweat so much. I can see the poopy stink kind of being like a little like, oh, that's a little nasty. I feel like people say a lot of things, but they don't know what the repercussion is. And that actually brings me to the next topic of this episode. Your generation is named something, right? There's a huge thing with the Gen Zs that a lot of them look older than what they actually are in age. That's why like they always make, some people make these jokes that like you got to be catching yourself before you wreck yourself, because if you all of a sudden as a guy start flirting with some 16-year-old, we got some problems, and jail is one of them. For some reason, somebody decided it was a good idea to start a trend and be like, how old do I look? Why would you go and ask that question? And the thing is, why I say that is, everyone has the freedom to ask that question, but do not get butt hurt when people start saying left and right, you look a certain kind of way, and then you get mad. So there's Gen Zers, of course, and some of them look like 16 years old, but they're like 20. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Or they'll look 20 and they're 20. And some like, usually what I notice is it's always the people with like the more prominent features. And I've noticed that like they look old, meaning in the beginning in a younger age, but then as they get older, they're the people that end up looking the same and they don't look like they aged because they're now like growing into their features. But anyways, that's not the whole point. Not the Gen Zers. It's these people that are in their 35, 40 age group and thinking like they are like 20 years old, and they get upset. It's one thing, it's like it's a joke and they're like, how old do I look? Oh no, I'm actually this many years old. They're fetching meaning they're trying to get a comment that they look younger than their age. I think just because you look mature does not mean you're ugly or not pretty. It just means that you look mature. That's it. it's just like you look like you're part of a certain age group. So I don't know why people get upset. I mean, I don't know. I'm not everybody, so I should be considerate. So what happened was, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. This young lady, old lady, I don't know, whatever your age group is, she was 35 years old. And she asked the question, how old do you think I look? Now, the thing is, the purpose of this trend is, though, you don't tell your age, though, in the beginning. You do that for the next video. So people anticipate, right, of what it is. So I personally, I did not comment on the video, but I looked at her comment. I looked at her face, and I was like, okay, I would think she's late 30s, mid 40s, in that age group, between that group, right? And when I opened up the comments, that's exactly what other people were saying. There were some people saying mid 30s, late, but everyone was pretty much around the same group of 35 to 40. So that was the majority. Maybe only a couple of comments were mid 30s, and rarely anyone went younger. Then she releases another video, and she's like, you guys are so mean. Oh, you guys are so harsh. I couldn't go through the comment. Pretty much saying that people were purposely making her look old. Girl, no. You asked, we received. Or no, you asked and you received. It's the truth. The truth meaning yes, everyone has different opinions, but because you didn't get the opinion you wanted, now you just don't want it anymore. But she ended up being 35, and it was really funny because she's like, yeah, I think this is my hair color. That's why it makes me look more mature. But she's like, in my original, the pin video, and I looked at she's like, I know I look much younger, and I looked at the video, did not. You look exactly the same. And she's a very pretty lady. It's not she does not lack prettiness or beauty or anything. She's very pretty. It's, I guess, the age thing just bothered her. But I'm like, no, you still look very nice, lady, but you still look the same age. Why would you go and ask the question if you didn't really want to know the answer? If you want to know the brutal truth, not even the brutal truth, if you just want to get your feelings hurt, just ask elementary school kids, how old do you look? Okay? They'll tell you an age. I'll be honest, I don't think elementary school kids have a reference of time and frame of age, but they'll just give you a number. They'll just say 6. So then if you already hear that number, then your expectation and everything else is just already low. So then you don't have to have any high expectations from there. If you guys have or haven't heard, I'm pretty sure, and you'd be like, sports? What? Sneha, sports? Yeah, here we are, sports. ICC, which is I have to look at my screen to remember what that meant. International Cricket Council. So they're doing T20. I don't know what T20 means, but they're having matches here in the United States and the West Indies. And if you don't know, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows, is that the India versus Pakistan match is happening in New York. Okay, in New York. I'll be honest, I really underestimated these people. Okay, and when I say these people, I'm talking about the fans, the cricket fans. I thought to myself, how bad could this be? I've been in makeup lines to get a palette, concert ticket lines. I get my tickets, you know what I mean? My brain did not process nothing. Okay, when I say nothing. So I'm thinking, okay, there's this many people going to come in at the same time. The site's going to crash, all that stuff. It's going to be easy. Well, I did not really think much because a makeup palette or a concert is very limited to geography or a country wise, depending on where it sells. I completely forgot that this match and these tickets are worldwide. So, and the thing is, in the news, I heard 1000% heard that hotels are booked out around the stadium and all that stuff. My brain was still nah, I still got a chance. I still got a chance to get the ticket. Just to give you an understanding, I don't know if it's the same everywhere else. I'm pretty sure because it's the same website, right? You had to get on this first email sign up list. And I was like, how am I supposed to get on this email sign up list? And then my coworker sent me the link. Oh, yes. And you know what I did? Me being aggressive. And I'm like, I don't know what my competition looked like. Okay, I had a little bit caution, right? First, signed up with 4 emails. 4 emails. So I'm like, you know what? This increases my chances. 4 emails. And I use different people's names. Okay, we want the ticket. The reason why that email's for and why you sign up is because you get put into these ballots, and it pretty much is everyone gets the opportunity to select the tickets they want. And does not mean you'll get it. So then a week later, of course, happens the day I'm going into the city for work. And of course, I get the email and I get a bunch of them. I'm like, ah. And my coworker tells me every single time my coworker's there to just be like, oh, did you see the thing? I'm like, what? So of course I'm having this as a one tab on my screen, and thank God I did because it was loading so slow. And then I get to, I'm laughing because I'm stupid. I get to the portion where it says sign in. I'm like, sign in? What sign in? did I have a password? Remember the genius that was like, oh, 2 seconds ago, like, oh yeah, let me do 4 emails. Yeah, I did not remember any of my passwords. And I was like typing, and then there's a forget password. But the thing is, because I'm pretty sure thousands and thousands of people, the site is crashing. So this forget password is you cannot forget it. You need to know it. So then after a while, I just gave up. And then I waited. And then by like 2, 3, around the time I was about to leave, I tried again. This time it worked. And meaning the forget password worked. And I got to reset my password. And I only did it for 1. At that point, I gave up. I have to be honest, I gave up. And I was like, I'm not trying to forget my password for all 4 during this work time. And I'm about to leave. So I just did it right there. And then made the new one. And pretty much the ballot was, which games do you want to go to? Right? I selected every single India one, but I not necessarily wanted to go to every single India one, if that makes sense. It's just more like, okay, which ones can I get? I was not planning to go. Like, come on. After you get to Grand Central, you're going to have to take another train to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like in the middle of the day on a weekday. Oh, that's brutal. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe I'll have a chance. One of these games, I'm down. Let's go. Then the beginning of this week, I just get an email saying, your ballot has failed. Pretty much you don't get any of the games that you picked. I was like, and I was just like, man, none of them? Then the next day, they fooled me. And when I say fooled, they're like, oh, we know you tried the ballot and you didn't get it. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. Are they going to give out tickets more? And you know what happens? You can try again or try for these tickets. And I click the button. The first thing is loading. But the first thing underneath the load button is there are no more tickets for India versus Pakistan. And I was like, well, why am I here? And they're like, oh, there's limited tickets for XYZ games and all that stuff, right? But it's funny because there's obviously a lot more India games, but they just chose to just announce that one. And then I just still allowed it to load. I don't know why my hope was still that like there was going to be one and just came up. But it's not like someone's going to cancel it. You know what I mean? No one's going to cancel it or like their ticket. They're probably going to sell it for even more. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh yeah. I'm not going to get it, but let's just check. I look up India, and there's only India versus Ireland. And I'm like, I don't want to go to watch Ireland and India. It was a Wednesday in the middle of the week. And I'm like, at least if the game was on a Friday, I think I would have, or Friday or Monday, I would be more prone to go. Because I don't know, I think like the beginning of the week or the end of the week is better in terms of work. But right smack in the middle on Wednesday, I was like, nah, chill. And that's Ireland and India. I'm like, at least it was India versus Pakistan. But they all know too. Everyone knows that India versus Pakistan is going to be a big game, and put it on Sunday, it's going to be bigger viewership wise and just like in general, like people coming and hyping it up. It's going to be huge, especially out of all areas. New York. That's the thing. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. But the New York versus Pakistan, I'm like, oh, y'all trying it. You know. What I mean by that is like, keep in mind in America and West Indies, right? And it's not just New York as a location. It's New York, I believe, Texas, and Florida. So they knew. I mean, Texas would have also been a hotspot for Indian people, but like India, New York. Okay, you got the tri-state area. You got Connecticut, New York, and then New Jersey. Like, where else are you going to get like mini India, pretty much, of like majority? I mean, Pakistani people, I'm not very well versed, but Indian people, I got really desperate to one point, and this is really funny. I was just like, you know what? Who are the sponsors of this ICC, the T20 tournament? And I see one is Emirates and one is Coca-Cola. So I reach out to Coca-Cola because I love Coca-Cola, and I'm like, hi, I love Coca-Cola. I see that you guys are sponsoring the ICC one, and but hold on. And I was like, hi, Coca-Cola, I love Coca-Cola. I see that you guys are sponsoring this, and if you guys have any spare tickets, if you want, I'm absolutely open to take those tickets, right? And obviously, keep in mind, do not take this seriously. If you just thought, is Sneha serious? Sneha's not a lot of serious, but like, don't take what I just said seriously. Meaning, it's serious. It happened. I messaged them. But like, it's not like in seriousness, like I knew I was going to get a ticket or something. No, I knew nothing was going to happen. But what's that thing called in like things that people uplift you with? Like the shots you don't get is the shots you never try. Something like that. Not about shots. It's like the line about like every opportunity you miss are the shots you never take or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It's like that like inspirational stuff to make you keep going. Now keep in mind, this is probably some like intern or some computer being like just responding to everyone casually, but like it just made me happy though. It was like, "Hi Sneha, you have reached us at the Coca-Cola Company World Headquarters in the United States. For help with your request locally, please visit and choose your country for your best contact options. Best wishes." And I said, "Thank you for even responding. Cross fingers for luck." And you may be thinking, Vartano, yes, I am. But you never know. What if they were just like desperate? I mean, desperate meaning I'm pretty sure they would give it to an actual famous person first before they ever give it to me. But like, what if? Have you seen those videos where I think it was a football match, and what happened was these people, they were like outside in the stadium, or outside of the stadium, excuse me, for football, and this girl, she was a social media for their TikTok, right? And she was just holding tickets like this, and the camera was like this, so you can't see her, you just see her hands, and she's just going to anyone and seeing if anyone will pay attention. Finally, this elderly couple, she's like, "Oh, you can take it," and they open it, and I guess they got access to see the field and meet the players and everything, and I was like, what? And I was like, see, I wish that was me, but I don't even got basic tickets to go to the match, but I tried. So I have one story today about, am I the a-hole for these wedding rules? Our families gave up on us. Oh, that's not good. It says, "Before y'all jump into any conclusions about how my fiance needs to run away from me and how crazy I am and what a poor man he is dealing with me, since y'all do it to every woman, let me clarify that these rules for the wedding were mutually agreed on by both me and my fiance, and many of them were his ideas." Oh, that's fun. Weddings. So they have 4 rules. Number 1, unplug ceremony and reception. And I'll comment on every single one of these before I go. But number 1, unplug ceremony and reception until dinner is over and the dance party starts. That means no phones at all unless a very huge emergency. People were okay with the ceremony part, but they found the dinner part too much. Many of my parent friends also said that since they're leaving their kids at home, they should at least be granted a little grade to check their phone with their kid's babysitter. I said if I made an exception for them, I'd have to make it for everyone. So, no. Unplugged means unplugged. Checking with your kids is not an emergency. What? Okay, well, now you know my opinion already. If something serious happens, you'll know. So for those of you who don't know what unplugged means, pretty much, and for those of you who have heard it but still don't follow the damn rules, unplugged, at least I've seen it mainly for a ceremony. I've never seen it for a reception. That's interesting. But usually what the bride and groom request is that you don't use your phone during the ceremony itself. Like, be in the moment, be watching. And mainly it's for, I feel like, 2. It's like the technology thing of do not take pictures in the aisle, okay? Do not take pictures in the aisle. As an example, right? See how there's a frame right here? Oh, it's a little crooked. Oh no, my hands are just crooked. So see how there's a frame right here, right? This is where the frame of the camera stops, right? So if I'm the bride, I'm like, la, 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 la. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you just see like over here, like, poop. See this hand? This is you taking the picture. No, you're supposed to be out here, okay? We're back. A lot of things have changed, as you can tell. I currently have my flash on. The backlight is on. The lights turned off. But actually, okay, I feel like every single time something changes, I'm like feeling it. The color changed and everything just changed. It's because we lost the sunlight, y'all. We'll figure it out, okay? I feel like every episode, something new. So always stay tuned onto the YouTube. Where we had left off was the whole unplugging from the ceremony. And as I was saying before, if you're this person out of frame and you're going like this, trying to take your picture, distracting the cameraman from, not even distracting, you're ruining the picture, okay? And of course there's a sentimental point like, hey, just don't be so much into electronics and, social media and all that stuff, and just be in the moment. Totally understand that. But I also think it's another perspective of get out of the way, okay? Get out of the way. I don't know why the ceremony thing is. I guess it works for like small weddings, but for a big wedding, how is it going to work? Even just in general, how you seat your tables and everything, right? You could be a table that's everyone's like far apart and like the last table's all the way over there. And if that's the case, then you won't be paying attention. You won't even be able to hear anything. Take it from somebody that sat in all the way in the back, okay? It's like you're not paying attention. You're just paying attention to the food. And then obviously the people around you. How are you going to tell a parent that they can't check up on their kids? You're going to tell me that like a babysitter or something, you just always want to check up on your children, and like a small text or like call wouldn't hurt. Unless you're really about like, I want everyone to pay attention to me. Next, color scheme and strict dress code. all black color scheme, and mandatory dresses for women and tuxedos for men. No pants allowed for women. I got reactions for this for two reasons. One reason was that my aunt, who's been mourning her dead husband for over 2 years, just got rid of black clothes a couple of months ago and tries to move on and claims wearing black makes her depressive. Another issue was the mandatory dress, as my husband's sister, your future sister-in-law, have body dysmorphia and hates dresses on her and always wears pants. Again, if we make an exception for two people, we'll have to make an exception for everyone. No, that's not true. Because you know what, at the end of the day, you are the bride and the groom. If you want to say these people do not have to do it, then they don't have to do it. Compromise meaning, yeah, I know wedding already is hard and people should try. And I know it's a color. I mean, who am I to, her husband did that though. And depends on how your aunt is and like all that stuff. Like what compromise can you guys have? Or a dark gray. I mean, I've seen people like do like the black and white theme and all that stuff. I mean, obviously, of course, once again, it's whatever the bride and groom want, but it's just, black is a very famous color. So that's the thing. I can't even complain about the color too, because black is like everyone owns black. You know what I mean? But the sister-in-law or future sister-in-law with the pants, come on now. It's not a big deal to wear pants. First of all, that's sexist. It's like if she wants to wear pants, let her wear pants. It's not like it's the opposite story, right? It's like, it's not like she's not saying she won't wear black. She's wearing black, but with pants. And what will that make a difference? It's like, when I say what will make a difference is if she's not a bridesmaid, right? And she's just a wedding guest, then wouldn't it just, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, is like everyone gonna be taking a picture, like a group picture, and you'll just magically just see her pants? Like what's, I don't get the pants thing. That one I don't get. Then, third, bridesmaids diets. Oh God. Okay. This is going to be great. We've ordered the bridesmaid dresses months in advance. Okay. So they'll stay on the weight they are right now. If you're a bigger size, do whatever it is in your power to stay big. If you're skinny, quit fast food for a few months and stay skinny. If the dresses don't fit, you are going to have a effing problem, so stick to your effing diets. They had an issue with this, claiming I can't police their eating habits. One of my bridesmaids claimed she developed an ED, which is an eating disorder, from that rule, but there's no official diagnosis, so I don't know if she's valid. I think her approach is wrong, and I don't think what she's saying is exactly what she's saying. What I mean by that is, there's a lot of things going on in this one bullet. So, of course, like, you cannot tell people what they can and cannot eat. I've seen other posts like that where like people will straight up say like, this is at least, what I'm thinking is this lady saying like, hey, whatever the size you are wearing, like the dress you buy, do not lose weight, do not gain weight. Pretty much it cannot be altered. So like maintain your weight. I think her approach was horrible. Absolutely horrible. That is something also that's up to the bridesmaids, and I don't know who's paying for the dresses, because here in America a lot of the times bridesmaids I think pay for their dresses, and then in some cases maybe the bridesmaids will pay for the dresses, but the brides may pay for the dress. But this dress must be super rare meaning you can't get their version, it cannot be altered, it can't be anything, you can't change it, right? If that's the case, then you have to sit down and talk to your bridesmaid and say like, hey, this dress cannot be altered. Unfortunately, we have to get it now in order to get it, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, if you best as possible to like maintain your weight. So last, my maid of honor's daughter is supposed to be our flower girl, but maid of honor claims she can't do this since the kid will have to stay with the babysitter at a hotel after the ceremony. She lives 4 hours away from me and where I'll be having my wedding. She planned on letting her daughter with her mom to save money on babysitters and refuses to bring the kid as a flower girl and leave her at a hotel with a babysitter. There are weddings out here that they do not want any children at the wedding. And some of you may be like, what? No children at the wedding? What do you mean? Yes, this is a thing. They'll say adults only on the invitation and all that stuff. And that's, hey, I mean, let's be honest. Like, how many of y'all gone to a wedding and a little kid come? And thing is, let me say what I'm going to say and then I'll explain. All of a sudden, the bride and groom are about to do their first dance. All of a sudden, you see a child with some kind of thing. Seriously? And then, I don't know what's wrong with some of these parents, right? They're like, oh. They're like looking at their kids like, oh, that's so cute. No, get your child off the stage. Get them off the stage. Get them off like distracting the thing. Some of these parents, I swear, like I'll just be looking at them just like, what are you doing? In those moments, I feel like there are key moments in every wedding that you should just put your child on child lock. I know maybe it's like, oh, it's easier said than done. No, it's for like the dance that this bride and groom is going to do is like for 2 minutes. Hold your child, wrap them up, put some kind of rope on them, something. Because the fact that they just allow their kids to dance and the bride and groom's dancing, or there's a dance performance and they're just allow their kids to just run on the stage, it's just ruining the moment. You know what I mean? It's like, control your kids. And for those instances, I completely understand why people don't want children at the wedding, because if I can do it to my dog that's 30 pounds, you can do it to your child, okay? It's not that difficult. Back to this. So this lady wants the girl to be a flower girl, but doesn't want her at the reception. That, and I've seen a lot of stories like this too, where like they'll want her at one part, but not the other. Oh, there was another messed up story, but that's for another day. So what's happening is she wants her to be the flower girl, but does not want her to be at the reception. So the parents originally want her to stay back home with the grandma, but because if she's going to be part of the reception, she has to stay in the hotel, like near an area, and they have to get a babysitter. I, as a bride, would either one, if you really want this girl to be your flower girl, then I would pay for the grandmother to come stay at the hotel, or have no flower girl, or figure it out. Because it's like, obviously the parents don't feel safe with just a random babysitter near that area, right? Which is absolutely fair. How would you're going to an area 4 hours away, you probably don't know anyone in that area, and you're just picking a random person, you know what I mean, just for those few hours? No, that's not okay. And then they have a whole rule about no phones. Wow, full circle here, full circle. How are you going to have somebody go with a stranger and then just say no phones? Okay. Anyways, so thing is, like, if that's the case, then either the bride's gonna, if she really wants a flower girl, she's gonna have to pay for the I feel the hotel room for the grandmother and have the grandmother stay, or just have no flower girl and have, like, you know how some people have, I think that's funny, when they have like an older person that's a flower boy or girl, man or woman. Those are funnier if that's really what, like, if you want to compromise. There are situations, and I've seen it like online and everywhere, people will literally be like, there's 2 people invited, right? Then, and what will happen is, here you have to, so they'll mail you, right? Here they'll mail you a letter, or it'll be online. When I say online, meaning either you get like a little card that says RSVP here, or they'll send you like a QR code or a website, and then you can RSVP on the site. This one is a specific card. So, oh, also, that's another thing. I feel like I'm talking, but like I think I'm saying a lot of things that maybe are new to some people. Is that here, it's not like, oh, you go to everyone's house and be like, oh yeah, you come to my daughter's wedding. Oh, you come. No, you literally, how it works here is it's like an actual wedding invitation, right? And you mail it to everyone, right? So then once you mail it to everyone, there is going to be a response. If you say you're not coming, you cannot all of a sudden randomly just show up to a wedding. No. There will not be a table for you, okay? And when I say there's not going to be a table, it's not like, oh, you can just pick a random seat. How it works is you will come. There will be a table, or there's going to be like a chart when you get to the reception, and they'll be like Mrs. Sneha. You know what I mean? So Mrs. Sneha is sitting at table number 10. Okay, we'll go with number table 10. And then maybe, depending on what it is, either it's you can sit wherever you want, or they'll have a specific seat for you to sit. You cannot just go and do whatever you want. Anyways, now we're going back. Is that what happens is with this card, right? We're talking about this card, or I'm saying the card in this situation because online is different. These people, what they did was online is, or it was a bride, and pretty much said that we sent out wedding invitations and look at what one of the responses was coming back. And so they invited 2 people from that family. You know what the lady did? They did the husband and wife, then they did the 5 kids. And so then they added on, the guest had the nerve to add on 5 people. I'm not kidding you, 5 people. So they think that, oh, I should be able to invite. No, that doesn't work here like that. If they say 2 people, it's 2 people. It's not like, I mean, if you're lucky, maybe somebody doesn't come. And if you are the actual people they like, when I say like, maybe I shouldn't say like. What I mean is, if you are one of the people that they want to come, but they weren't able to, they will invite you. Okay. Do not be the person to go in the aisle and take a picture. Do not do that. Do not be the person to be upset if you're not invited to a wedding. Trust me, if you weren't invited, probably it's best if you don't go. Thank you so much for joining the 5th episode of Mindful Tangent. I really appreciate all the ones that have been here since the first episode or those that are new. I really appreciate you guys kind of listening in, even though I know I jump from 500 topics this way, that way. Hey, that's why it's called the Mindful Tangents. We're going on tangents here. But I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, please remember to share and like the video. And if you're on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, to give the podcast a rating. But thank you so much for listening or watching. And I'll see you next week. Bye.